we're in the Tier 8 German cruiser Admiral Hipper. It has 8 203mm guns, 12 torpedoes, 58 AA defense rating, a surface detect of 12.4 kilometers, top speed 32 knots, total hull 43,800. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase main battery accuracy, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift, concealment. For my commander, situation awareness, basic survivability, faster turret traverse, and superintendent. We are on the map Estuary, and this is the first competitive match for me on this map. It's a little interesting map. I don't understand quite how that amount of water could fall from such a small area, but you know, it's whatever, it's magic. In this particular game, I'm rocking the Atlantic hull for the Hipper, and it doesn't really change a lot. I think the AA gets better, but yeah, it looks better. It doesn't look as abrupt and awkward. I really do like those pointed forward bows. It looks like you want to go somewhere rather than you're just trying to hold back the water. I don't know, it's just metaphor. Anyway, we're going after the enemy York. I was hoping that he would continue to turn just barely more. Unfortunately, we only do 2,500. We don't get that Citadel, but it was setting up perfectly, and never mind, he is dead. It looked like a battleship got a really big broadside, and that's what my impression of this map is. I don't see how a team can find a path to assault. It seems like the team that doesn't make a mistake is going to win the game, instead of a team winning by having a great play or a great strategy. If you're willing to show your side, you're going to be punished on this map. You can't really move forward that much. There's not a lot of room in between the islands for battleships to fit. Only a destroyer would be so bold, and I don't see any of them going there anytime soon. So we're firing on this New Mexico. He's got the old hull. It's got that really weird American design, almost an art project, right? The spiral metal. It's just so fascinating. I would have loved to have seen it in real life. You would never believe that a military vessel would have some intricate design like that, and they certainly didn't. But now, it's one for the ages, and we just get lucky there. We're the last shot. I'm firing at full cooldown. I don't care. I'm not trying to steal it. I'm just trying to kill him. We can't afford to leave targets up too long. Now, this is a New Mexico that has already sustained significant damage. He's down below 50% life. He has the upgraded hull, of course. Much more armored up. Looks thicker. Looks like it's done a little bit of working out. And I see on the minimap that this Warspite and this Cleveland are broadside, and I'm hoping that they'll just come out from behind the island. I'm going to take advantage of that, of course. I could engage the Farragut. Not an ideal shot. Much easier to pick on a battleship or a cruiser willing to show their side. The Farragut takes a big shot from something. But we're going to continue pressing forward with the Warspite. Got to make sure that we don't slam into the island. And we're pretty tall. We're not going to slam into any island. And instead, we're going to slam into a Warspite doing 6,700 points of damage. And yeah, he's definitely going to feel that. The Farragut dies, which is great, because we don't have to deal with a destroyer. The Cleveland willing to show his side. The Warspite is hiding in the smoke, probably by accident. And I tried to get a Citadel, not quite. We do 4,300. And he turns away. He's got a harsh angle. We're just trying to get something in the realm of the superstructure, because if we get that hull, it's going to bounce off harmlessly. Yeah, it bounced off harmlessly. The Warspite is back, showing perfect broadside. Screw the Cleveland. He's got an extremely harsh angle. I cannot try and effectively penetrate him, but that Warspite, oh yeah, front guns, 5,800, give me more of that, please. And you notice there was an enemy destroyer out there, close. We gotta be careful. We don't want to be too brazen. If we go out there, we can't really deal with it as well. Oh, we actually destroy one of his front guns. He's gonna end, you know, his life is over. It's just, can he do anything before it? And that destroyer did send out torpedoes, and again, we do really good damage, but we are the lucky one to have the final say in the outcome. So far, 2 kills, but honestly, It's probably only 1 kill, and it's an Anshun, the Chinese tier 6, I want to say. It's basically a Ganemiyashi copy. It's not quite as good, of course, because nothing ever will be. It's probably the strongest ship in the game. But it works out pretty well. We've got HE loaded, and the HE's doing okay. I didn't realize I had the opportunity to take enemy fire from across the map. I guess they were just waiting to take on Notser. There's not a lot of people that actually headed out west. And there we go, 3,300. Karma came back a little for my teammates. We got a lot of damage, but we didn't get the kill. It's great that he's dead. I didn't deserve 3 kills at this point in the match. And it is over before it began. The enemy team just lined up and showed a perfect broadside. Just look at the mini-map. They all basically have perfect broadside angle to any friendly that spawned and headed out to the northwest side of our base. And that's their fault. We didn't outplay them. They made critical mistakes in angling. And the New Mexico, obviously, very low. We're going to try and follow up, get the kill. We have great range. Our HE does the trick, and that's our 3rd kill. And there's an enemy Benson, of course. He's trying to escape. You're not going to escape the wrath. 4 enemy ships left. We can try to fire in between the islands, but I don't really think that's possible. They're just large enough that it becomes really hard to find the success that you're looking for. So instead, I'm going to head forward, possibly run into a ship that's willing to show their side. You know, so many have been willing this game. I'm leading the flank. Even the destroyers are behind. I just don't get it. We clearly have a huge advantage. Push and destroy. Don't hold back. Don't hold the fury. You must release it. And an enemy Molotov. It's the tier 6 premium Soviet cruiser that was just released probably, what, 2 weeks ago? It's such a blur. We got HE loaded because he's basically bow on. However, it doesn't appear like he really cares, and he's firing at us. The enemy North Carolina is also firing at us, and he's opening up to a perfect broadside. 3,300 with HE. We switched to AP. I'm just salivating at the prospect that I'll get to use AP in a broadside scenario. We're going to watch it go in. It was the waterline shot. Is it successful? Oh, yes, it is. 10,000 points of damage, and he is knocked out. Enemy destroyer. I didn't realize he would come back and go after me. I thought he might go for the Mayhan. We, in our infinite wisdom, had hydroacoustic. Now, that's sort of an accident that I used it. I felt the destroyer was somewhere close, but by using it so early, I was able to safely set up my ship for success. It's pretty okay, I would say, to use hydro a little bit earlier than you probably would expect to in order to protect yourself. It lasts so long. I can't believe it lasts so long, honestly. So I'm going to send my torpedoes against the North Carolina and gun down the Benson. That's the greed talking. I just play the game as if I can do it all. And we do 2,500 with HE. I do switch to HE. I try to, at least. It is much better. I think the Hipper, I'm not 100%, but HE all the way against destroyers. We try and line it up. Oh, demolition. Yeah, that's a bad luck. Oh, man, that was a lot of metals in a short amount of time. So we got the torpedoes on the North Carolina. We detonated the enemy Benson. We earned Kraken Unleashed. And now there's just the New Orleans. I unload the last of the HE, and I'm going to switch to AP because, quite frankly, the New Orleans was showing his side. He's trying to kill me before we kill him. I don't want to let that happen. I want to kill him in a broadside. We do 4,400 with our front. We miss out on that Citadel. Who's going to get the kill? Come on, we can kill him before. We're trying to stay as neutral as possible. Oh, this is it. It's over. And there you go. Quickly take care of the enemy. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kills. A double strike, Kraken Unleashed, devastating strike, over 400,000 credits earned, over 90,000 points of damage done, 2,209 base XP. And our whole team just dominated the enemy. They quite frankly, they played it entirely incorrectly. They showed way too much of their side, and part of that might come from never playing the map. This was the first time I've ever played it. But even on the first go, you must understand, you can't have a perfect broadside showing against the enemy. Now, that's not the only game. We're going to have 2 games, and the second game is in the Furutaka, the Tier 5 Japanese cruiser. It has 6 203mm guns, 8 torpedoes, 23 AA defense rating, a surface detect of 11.9 kilometers, top speed 34.5 knots, total health 30,700. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase main battery accuracy, reduce the chance of flood and fire. For my commander, situation awareness, faster turret traverse, and superintendent. We are on the map Fault Line, and we are also in a brand new hull. This is the Alba-ish Furutaka hull. I believe this is actually historically accurate. It eventually had a hull similar to this. So, from that standpoint, it's great. It just teaches you how to play. I believe the torpedoes got a little bit of an upgrade, and I'm excited to show off just how this ship looks. It's a great Tier 5. It's so funny. Back in the day, this was the worst ship in the game. And consistent buffs, consistent adjustments have really brought it into its own. And now, I can honestly say it's probably one of the best Tier 5s that I like to play. The torpedo systems are fantastic. The gun systems are dominant with HE and AP. That's really what you're looking for. If you can set up great citadels, you will be money in this ship. There's not a lot of Tier 5s that have 203s. I believe this and the Germans are the only ones that get 203 at Tier 5. And I was trying to set up the broadside in AP, and it just didn't work out. He recognized it probably. He angled accordingly, and I sent my torpedoes expecting he would continue to go forward. It's not looking good so far. He's already taken out a friendly who was overly zealous, I would say. He's got a destroyer backup, and I was trying to get a little cheeky, maybe find him overextending a little bit, get a nice shot in between the 2 islands. He never does. And now it's just, can we take the Cleveland out, and can we do it rather quickly? We have to deal with the destroyer. The destroyer can kill us. Torpedoes will level the playing field. I got AP loaded. Unfortunately, he's got great angling, and oh wow, there are a lot of enemy ships. So there are 2 destroyers, 2 cruisers. There's probably more on this flank. And come on, Cleveland, come on. Just show your side. Show a little bit more. Just give it to me, and no. Nope. He never actually does that. And now we've got a Clemson and a Farragut. Very, very close. I have to treat them with respect. We're going to go after them. The Clemson is one of those U.S. destroyers that have torpedo tubes on both sides of the ship. But they don't have a lot of range. He has to be very close. You know, about 4.2 kilometers away. That sounds like a good amount to really take advantage. We unload AP, we do a little bit of damage. We unload HE, we do a little bit of damage. He sends his torpedoes, not quite the range. I really do respect all these ships that have torpedoes, and it is within your best interest to recognize which ones at least have torpedoes. And then you can recognize the range that they work at, and then you can put it all together. You can say, you know what, I'm not going to get within such and such. The Clemson, so close to dead. Friendly is able to finish off the Clemson, and the friendly cruiser takes 1 torpedo to the front of his ship. He's still alive. Barely. The enemy Furutaka is a tank player, of course, in 2016. Not quite within my gun range, just at the edge. This enemy Farragut, however, is within gun range, and we're going to try and engage him. And I'm trying to lead with HE, and of course it dispersed everywhere but on the ship itself. That Cleveland, I don't know where he went, but he actually got out. He was very low, and he escaped. But that doesn't matter right now. What matters is taking out the enemy destroyer. We get 1 lucky dispersion, and that was luck. We didn't deserve to hit him at all, and he's getting closer and closer and closer. And all I want to do is kill him. I don't want to see the Farragut ever again. I want him to end the game and move on. 3,100, nice. Don't want to run into the island. Got to be keenly aware. I haven't run into an island in a long time, and quite honestly, I'm much better at avoiding islands. After playing these maps, you get used to angling and what you're trying to accomplish, and maybe I'll make more mistakes on the brand new maps, but the maps that we have right now, I have played them so much. The Farragut is behind the island. The enemy appears to be having a pretty strong push on the eastern flank. We're actually down by 2 ships. This enemy New Mexico has me dead to rights if I don't continue going forward and avoiding his shot. The Farragut lets out a little bit of love. He's on fire from something, probably a friendly. And there's the Cleveland. There you are. You tried to move forward. You tried to go meet up with your teammates, but you didn't expect Notser to be on the case, and I'm going to try and set up not a broadside, but I expect that he's going to have a little bit too much angling for AP. AP would probably work better, but HE was loaded, and we were able to set him on fire, do 3,200, angle against his shots, and boy, I don't think he hit me one single time. His rate of fire is basically double, maybe even triple. I think it's like 6 or 7 seconds reload. But that's okay. We've got great aim, great HE damage, and he's just hitting short. Maybe he expects me to be a little bit closer. I didn't want to get any closer. I felt really good right here. And of course, he's alive, hidden behind an island, and anyone on my team can decide to fire. And this is getting into a rout. This is not looking good. I just wanted to show a good example of the Furutaka with the new hull. I felt like this game showcased the broadside capability, the torpedo, the HE, the whole package. And this Cleveland, he's just given up on life, I guess, and we're able to take him out. That's the first. Of course, we lose another. I was like, that's the first in the comeback, but they basically have killed twice as many ships as we have. We are down a significant amount of ships. This Texas is going to cross over and be in a position to possibly take my torpedoes. If you look at the torpedo arc, it's actually pretty awesome in the Furutaka. The torpedo arc is almost as good as the Atago, and the Atago is probably what you dream of if you're a Japanese cruiser captain. The ability to have 10-kilometer range torpedoes, and I wanted to send so bad. But the Isokaze, we can't afford to possibly kill him. It just is not worth it. So instead, I'm going to wait and send after he's left the area. And my expectation was that the Texas would turn south. By doing so, he would actually force me to send forward of the indicator. And it looks like he's going to be able to avoid the torpedoes. Maybe the Isokaze would kill him, but there's no way I could get in position to take him out. And that Farragut, he's taken out my friendly. The friendly is trying to send his torpedoes against him, but I don't think it's going to work out for him. He's caught between a rock and a hard place, right? The battleship and the destroyer can easily gun him down. The Texas avoids the torpedoes. He's still alive. The Isokaze is unable to spot the Farragut. The Farragut's hidden in the smoke, and he's taken out. So I'm going to try and put myself in position to take out the Farragut and take out the Texas. Now the Texas is already on fire, burning from a friendly. The Farragut shows up. Oh, someone did about 6 or 7k to the enemy Texas. I'm going to send my torpedoes against the Farragut. I felt like he wanted to come towards me. At least that's what he was making for. So I tried to send the torpedoes as close to the island as I could. Unfortunately, he either saw them, had an idea that that could possibly happen. He turns so sharp that he's able to go on the other side of the island and completely avoid them. So now I'm going, please Farragut, make the mistake, be a little bit too close, a little bit too cocky. Unfortunately, I'm spotted by the aircraft, so he sees me. But he makes the mistake of showing himself. We try and get him, and we catch just a little bit. 47. Okay, we're good. I use my hydro. It's an obvious torpedo scenario. It allows us to angle accordingly and just take the time. He's trying to dodge wildly. We know exactly what to do. You make him commit, and then you fire. The best way to avoid taking damage is to stay neutral and then react whenever the player fires their gun. Don't commit fully to a turn, because then your rudder has to go all the way back. I have more than enough aiming prowess to hit a target that gives me 1 to 2 second window of a predictable pattern. The east, awful. But we've brought this back slowly. Very slowly. I see that enemy Furutaka. I would love him to die. Friendly is able to finish him off. We are working on the Carl and feeling sorry for him. I just love it. I love the narrative that Carl is such a bad ship. It's not as bad as it once was, but it's so funny that it happens to be the Carl, right? The name is just so interesting for a ship. I'm sure there's plenty of Carls that watch my stuff, but the Carl, you don't think of the Carl as a weapon of war, right? You think of these amazing states, these amazing mountains, just massive, iconic personalities or landmarks, and the Carl maybe is not someone I would immediately associate with massive power, esteem. And we're just trying to finish off the Carl. He's trying his best to avoid. We've got AP loaded, probably not ideal, but it's more than enough considering the health pool of the enemy. Of course, he's a German ship. He sent out his torpedoes. We're able to avoid it. All German ships have a 6-kilometer range torpedo. Just be aware that it could happen, and when you play like it, you're not going to take it accidentally. This New Mexico, he has to deal with way too many enemies for him. It's 3 to 4 versus 1. It's just not going to work out. So I send my torpedoes, expecting that he will be distracted. He won't have the ability to fight us all off. I mean, I don't think I could. There's a lot of ships that you have to deal with, and he's holding true. I don't think he sees it. And by the time he realizes it, it's too late, and he's trying to get a little cute, but he doesn't get a shot off. We're able to take him out with the torpedoes. This flank is safe, and look at the turnaround. At one point in this match, we were down to 6 ships versus 9 enemy ships. 6 to 9 is now 5 to 2. That is a huge comeback. That is just overplaying, being a little bit too overzealous, throwing away your ship. You should use your advantage, obviously, but you shouldn't just throw away your ship. The 1-to-1 trade is not acceptable if you have any expectation of succeeding. You want to look for a 2-to-1 trade. 1-to-1 is okay, sure. There's a lot of players that are completely fine with getting a 1 kill death ratio. But if you get 2-to-1, then you're really doing something. You're giving your team an exceptional chance to win the game. And that shows. The 5 that were remaining were able to take out now 4. The 4 that were remaining, now let's give credit where credit's due. The 5 that were remaining were able to get basically 2 kills for every 1 we lost. Or even better than that at that point. So I'm just trying to get over to the other side of the map. We're going to skip a little bit of this because it's just a little slow. So as we make our way over to the other side of the map, it's an enemy Bajoni and an enemy Fuso. Now, the Bajoni is near max range, playing it exactly as you should in a Soviet cruiser. You want to provide that gun support, but you cannot take damage. You need battleships and heavier cruisers to do that for your team. So I'm just trying to get in a position to engage the Fuso, because that Soviet cruiser is not within range. We've got, I believe I had AP loaded, and I'm going to unload and switch to HE. I'm playing for the long game, trying to burn him down. Maybe the Soviet cruiser will come a little bit too close, show a perfect broadside, give us the opportunity to just kill him. We also have torpedoes, and I knew very well that that friendly cruiser, he was going to die. Only 11 hit points left. Ooh, there we go. There's a fire. And yes, the Soviet cruiser got a little bit too close. He has less health. He is way less armored than the Fuso. And the Fuso put out the fire, so we're going to try and restart that fire. Knowing that he's used it, I'm also going to try and send my torpedoes. I am overextended, but at this point in the game, I felt like, you know what? I've got 2 battleships right on my butt. We can take out the Fuso together. If I die, that's okay. We have the ability to engage the target. We should be able to overwhelm at least one of the 2. Plus, the enemy cruiser is making a little bit of a mistake by putting an island in between his ship and my ship. And I didn't really plan that to happen, but my mistake is a little bit more costly, I would say. I showed a little bit too much side to the Fuso, and I was just trying to trick him. Maybe he would make the mistake and allow the torpedoes to kill him. They don't. And there's a real risk that we'll lose this game. We do have a health advantage, and that enemy cruiser is behind an island, so he can't actively help right now. The New Mexico gets what looks to be a citadel. It is quite a lot of damage, and he's turning back. Interesting. Maybe he wants to have angling against the enemy cruiser. I don't really know. There's 1 minute and 20 seconds left. I hope he's not going to ram. We really don't want some kooky play like that. That would be really, really dumb to do, but it doesn't look like that's what he's doing, so that's good. He is setting up his shot. He's waiting for the moment. Fuso, show your side. He gets him down really low, not quite enough. He loses one of the 2 front guns. Does he still have the ammo loaded in the other front gun? He does, and he takes out the enemy Fuso. And he's still alive. He's still alive. Just 45 seconds left. They can easily take out this enemy cruiser. They just have to get their shots ready to go. This New Mexico is actually falling pretty fast. He still has the immunity from damage control, so that's why the fire was put out, and he's calling, "Help me! Help me!" I'm sure that the friendly battleship knows that you need help. And with 20 seconds left in the match, it kind of looks like they're not going to be able to kill him. A cruiser would be so perfect in this situation. He would have the potential to take out the enemy cruiser, but the rate of fire is just not there. Here's one last shot. Can he do it? No, he can't. 3,900 for the enemy cruiser, and that's how the game ended. We won that. We came back. I gave away the ship, but we got, I think, 4 kills. Yeah, 4 kills. We only did 5,600 points of damage, but it was a tier 6 match. Not a lot of health on the enemy team, I would say. We did 1,771 base XP. I was happy, though, that our team held out, was able to come back. I hope you enjoyed both of the games. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.